Dana and Derek here again with another watch party. This one is week 2 of playoffs, down in the losers bracket between IQ and IIG. IIG coming off of the bye week because we only had 7 teams in playoffs. They are the 3rd seed from Group A, and IQ being coming off of a loss against GGG. I believe that was a 2-0 in the winners bracket. They are the 2nd seed from Group B. So with that, we've got the drafts up, and I think we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah. So one thing is, I think, right, both teams had a sub.
Correct.
So it looks like both
Harm
teams.
Lucky Harm subbed in for Diogenes the Cat on IIG, and Looking to Sub for LCS subbed in for Bone Garood on IQ, so in the top lane.
Yeah. So I think it looks like both teams had to forego their last ban then because of the subs.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the series was scheduled very last minute, so I think both of them had some very last minute subs.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Looking at draft. So IIG, they went with the ban Richie strat a little bit. Mm-hmm. The TF, the patented TF tech, especially was the first ban, and then Syndra, which he has been playing some Syndra. Generally looks really good. And then we have a Thresh ban, which is mostly like Besmondone does have a pretty good Thresh from what I remember. So it makes sense. And then they opt for like a first pick of Mumu. IQ had to ban York, of course, because of Crimson Chin, and then they went for a Zyra ban against Kiksa, and then a Leona ban.
Yeah, that Thresh ban is against Super.
Yeah, wrong way. I can't. There's too many eyes, and then a circular-ish thing with a little stem in their names. So yeah, okay. Other way around. Got it.
We see it there in the first 2 picks for IQ. Banning Thresh instead of the Swain or the Nautilus gives IQ kind of their signature bot lane. Most teams just ban it. Our team actually bans both components of it in the Swain and the Nautilus, because I think it is probably the 2 best champions for those 2 players, Gentle Criminal and Super Noob.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, usually like you probably can just ban one element of it, but you know, IIG is opting not to do that. So maybe they were trying to feel it out and just see how that is, because they were in separate groups, so they only matched each other once.
Yep.
IIG took Ezreal and Rakan, so they picked their bot lane in response. Rakan's been seeing a lot of pro play at Worlds, but I'm not sure necessarily if it's paired with Ezreal, but Ezreal is always a safe pick. And especially, right, if they have to sub their ADC, a safe pick that is able to, just stabilize and is generally like a pretty good idea.
Yeah. So real quick, not only are they out of group, they were the first series of the season, I believe.
So it's been a long time. They haven't played
since week 1, where IIG did 2-0 IQ. And they did play against the Swain Nautilus in that week 1.
Okay.
But they beat it with the Leona Samira, back when Samira was still pretty strong.
And Leona was not slightly nerfed.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so pretty safe bot lane. Rakan has a lot of like engage potential, but also like is in and out and can roam pretty easily. So pretty good choice. And then IQ finishes their first phase with a Graves pick. So that can be flexed between top and jungle. because we've seen a lot of Graves top at Worlds.
Yep.
Because of fleet footwork, apparently. That's crazy to me, but whatever. So you can kind of keep them guessing. I don't know. I haven't looked at the match histories too much, so I wouldn't know if if it's a very obvious flex or if it's it could be a flex. But if you didn't do your research, you would know.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it did end up going to look into sub for LCS, so you'd have to be scouting out the sub there. And I don't think top is his normal lane. I think he can play pretty much anything, but
Gotta if you're gonna sub for LCS.
yeah.
All right. So then, yeah, phase 2 bans. So that each team only gets one because of the last minute subs. So we have Poppy banned on the side of IQ, which I think we have seen Crimson Chin play Poppy top. Also would be pretty nice, right? If you have like Swain or Nautilus, if Swain's in your team, you could just eat him out. And then IIG bans Rise, which is another Richie champion, but Richie plays a lot of champions, so it's always really hard. But Rise is a pretty good powerhouse if you allow him time to scale. So it's a pretty good ban. So IQ is gonna pick right off the bat. Then they pick the Jarvan, which then probably, I mean, I guess Jarvan top's been a thing at Worlds, I believe too. So it's a Gigaflex. But I'm gonna assume it goes jungle.
Yep.
And then IIG has to blind their mid, and then which they go for Lissandra. I mean, I guess Lissandra's a decent blind, and I know like Geeksa has a slightly more limited champ pool for mid lane. And then they're taking Cho'Gath top.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like the Lissandra here. It's there are a lot of tanks already kind of picked here, and I don't think Lissandra helps too much.
Yeah.
Brand is one of Kixa's champions, and Brand is available here. So that would maybe be a nicer pickup, in my opinion. You just combo it with the Amumu ult, and
right?
The Brand ult.
Or Rakan, yeah, and then like Rakan can still herd people together. Yeah, I do agree. And a lot of IQ is fairly short range right now. But IQ will finish it off with Silas for Rihi, which is kind of exciting to be able to take a Lissandra and a Cho'Gath. I mean, actually, they're pretty much all pretty good ults. AP Rakan's actually nasty, so I bet it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we know the results of the series, so I feel like taking bets is not really that ideal because we're going to be inherently biased. So we can just get in the game probably.
All right.
Just because I have the memory of a goldfish for some things doesn't mean I have the memory of a goldfish for everything, unfortunately.
All right, let's get into it. Yeah, I would say I'm not a big fan of giving over kind of just their best champions in the bot lane. I think Kiksa playing the Lissandra almost feels like an attempt at neutralizing Richie in the mid lane. Richie is a very aggressive player, but
yeah, I do think if you do pick a Brand, he's pretty immobile, so maybe that does sign you up to get taken advantage of. So maybe that's better.
That's for sure. I think like Lissandra, I'm not too familiar with what she's been doing in this season. I could see her going Leandri's this game, and I don't think that's too bad.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a wrong answer.
Yeah, I think normally she probably goes Everfrost.
Yeah, I think that would also be decent if everything's neutral.
I'm just worried about the damage